Hi, I'm Shannon Gavin Johnson, the Director of Legacy Museum on Main, and this is a brief moment in LaGrange's history. For thousands of years, Troup County was crisscrossed by a network of roads and paths that were created by Native Americans. Many of the old native paths became rutted by wagon wheels as European settlers arrived here. Major Henry West, an early settler to the area, is credited with blazing out the first road in the county, one that followed the Burnt Village Trail and may have crossed what is now Lafayette Square. Once LaGrange was laid out by surveyor Samuel Reed in 1827, West and William Moreland and Ornan Whatley cut the city streets out of the wilderness. By 1853, the poor conditions of roads led to locals complaining. While many local governments like the city of LaGrange had departments to maintain streets and roads, the task was overwhelming and the country's roads were in various states of disrepair. From 1850 to about 1900, over 1.5 million miles of roads were built across the United States. Many of them were nothing more than dirt tracks, though major roads were ditched and graded. While road improvement efforts continued into the 20th century, by 1913 only around 10% of the country had seen any improvement. Bad roads took their toll on rural areas, and farmers were the first to complain about the need for road improvements. As bicycles and later automobiles became more popular, cyclists and drivers complained too, and the Good Roads movement was born. In 1903, local citizens established a Good Roads Congress in Troup County that urged the County Commission to encourage action towards road improvement. A mere 2 months after their first meeting, the LaGrange Reporter noted that beginning at the county seat, they will build first-class roads for 5 or 6 miles in every direction on the public highways. By 1913, a desire for longer auto trails led wealthy automobile enthusiasts to fund the first transcontinental highway from New York City to San Francisco. While the Lincoln Highway consisted of existing roads stitched together, it was immediately successful and inspired the building of similar roads like the Dixie Highway, which connected Michigan and Florida. Eventually, the federal government joined the action, and the American Association of State Highway Officials was established in 1914 to promote the creation of a numbered highway system throughout the country. Among the first proposed number highways was US 29. It was first intended as a connector between US 70 in Gastonia, North Carolina, and US 80 in Tuskegee, Alabama, passing through Hogansville, LaGrange, and West Point. The highway has been expanded several times and now links downtown Pensacola, Florida, with Ellicott City, Maryland, which is just outside of Baltimore, for a total length of 1,036 miles. In 1932, the William Howard Taft Highway Association was established to promote a route from Mackinac, Michigan to the Gulf Coast along Georgia State Highway 1. At their first meeting, the national group selected J.D. Hudson, the owner of Hudson's Hardware on Main Street in LaGrange, to serve as one of the directors. By 1934, the group had achieved their objective and the road was added to the highway system as US 27. Work on the road was finished in 1941 with a bridge over the Chattahoochee River, and it now runs nearly 1,400 miles from Miami, Florida to Richmond, Indiana, going straight through LaGrange. With the establishment of the numbered highway system well underway, government officials began to consider an interstate freeway system. Some of the first proposals appeared under Franklin Delano Roosevelt's administration, but it wasn't until 1956 that Dwight D. Eisenhower signed the Federal Aid Highway Act into law, setting the wheels of government into motion and building an interstate highway system. First proposed in 1947, an interstate highway between Atlanta and Montgomery, passing near LaGrange, was finally begun in 1959. The next year, a tentative route proposal was presented, but years went by with little to no progress, while other portions of the road in neighboring counties saw far more work. In 1971, a local women's group, the Mothers Committee, stepped in to attempt to spur work. The group even spent a day clearing land for the unbuilt highway. After years of delays and consternation, construction on the final link of I-85 started in 1974 and continued at a steady pace for nearly 4 years before being completed in 1979. At the same time, work began on a road to connect downtown LaGrange with the interstate. That road would eventually be named Lafayette Parkway. Just over 100 years of progress has ensured that LaGrange is connected to the rest of the country. To learn more about highways and roads history in LaGrange, visit Legacy Museum on Main. This has been a brief moment in LaGrange's history.